Hi, sorry for the interruption. I had somebody come to the door to ask me a question and I had to stop it. So here is part 2 of my first vlog. Anyhow, while I was waiting to start back up again, I watched the first part of it and I noticed a few things about myself, and I don't like them, but I want to explain. I hate my voice. I hate my voice. I have this lisp, and I don't even know anything about it. I just don't like my voice, and I have noticed that both sides of my face are different, and I knew that to a degree, but I didn't realize the severity of it until I actually watched myself on video. So I apologize. I have MS, and I've had a lot of flares, and one of those big flares affected the whole right side of my face. It's a normal thing for me now. However, it took some occupational therapy and physical therapy to get used to it. What it felt like to me at first, and still does, but now it's my normal, is I'd had a lot of Novocaine, and it didn't just numb up my gums for dental work, it numbed like from here to mid-neck. And it's just like, choop! And that's my normal now. But see how I saw? It's awful. It's affected the side of my face. But when I talk and I smile, both sides are different. But truthfully, I don't know anymore which side's the right side and which side's the wrong side and what my face is actually supposed to look like. I am guessing nowadays this is what God's image of me is, and I need to learn to embrace that. I do. So let me get back on track with what I was talking about in the first video. I was talking about finding my voice in my mom, and I had told you that I went to live with my dad for 3 months, and I adore my dad. I am daddy's little girl, but he had a woman in his life that he was married to that I hated. I tried to embrace her, but she was a difficult person, and she made life hard for me. And I think there's a lot of parts that went on and behind the scenes as me as a 17-year-old that I didn't even know was transpiring. I'm sure there was a lot of things said to my dad that probably aren't true, and various other people, and that's fine. I don't even care. But bottom line is, I live with my dad and this woman, and I refuse to talk to my mom. I wouldn't. This is before cell phones, so there was no texting or anything, but I don't even know if people had home computers at that point. I don't know, they probably did, but more for businesses. But I never reached out to my mom, never. And I was horrible. And I did not realize at that point in my life that everything the kids do impacts you as a mom, whether it's good or whether it's bad. You're proud, but yet there's certain things that happen that rip your guts out, rip your heart out, rip your soul out. I've been through a lot of breakups. That doesn't make me a sleaze bucket. It makes me a person that makes a lot of bad choices. But Breakups are horrible, but I will tell you, there is nothing like having arguments or being estranged from a child. I say this to my close friends, but it's so true. My babies are the first people to ever hear my heartbeat from the inside. And I grew those humans. And I'm part of those humans. No matter how much they don't want to be a part of me. And I was a part of my mom. I know my mom and dad tried for, 6 or 8 years. It was a good while to get pregnant. And then there I was. And I can't believe that I ever tried to push my mom away. But I remember getting a box in the mail when I was living with my dad, and inside of it was a yearbook. And all my friends had signed that yearbook. And she sent it to me. And I don't know, it was like a slap in the face to open my eyes. Like, what are you doing? It's your senior year, and you are now in a all-girls Catholic school with 1,500 girls being taught by nuns, which that's fine. But I was in a strange place when it came to my education, different than what I had done before. And it was my senior year, and I wanted to go back and be with my friends. So I called my mom, and my mom immediately got in the car, and she came and got me. And I met her, and I will tell you, we never discussed it. We told each other how much we loved each other and how much we missed each other. And I remember we went to Red Lobster to eat. But it wasn't something that was constantly brought up or constantly dwelled into to make both of us hurt. But I will tell you, I think that fight we had about my dad changed things when it came to my dad. I don't ever remember my mom arguing with me anymore about my dad. My dad, of course, and my mom both, I'm sure, made a lot of mistakes in the relationship, but bottom line, she was still my mom, and he was still my dad. And I was trying to establish a relationship with my dad, and I'm sure that hurt my mom. I'm sure it did. But I hurt my mom more by doing what I did and leaving. So I came back and finished my senior year and went to college and blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, fast forward to some of the traumas in my life. And we were talking about finding our voice. But I've been sick all my life with various health problems, and there's a long list of autoimmune stuff, but my big thing is I have multiple sclerosis. And as you see from my face, there are things that maybe people can't even see, but I see them and I know they're there, and now you all see them. But I'm stronger than MS. Yeah, I am. And no matter what this disease does to me, I refuse to bow down to it. My strength is very strong. My faith is stronger. I'm working on my Christianity every day in my walk with God. When I first found out I had MS, I was angry. Angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at God because I didn't understand what was in store for me. And at that point in my life, I was physically and emotionally and in every way possible being abused. And I had a man in my life that was my husband that would say things to me like, look at you, who's gonna want you? You're gonna be a cripple. And once I had that diagnosis, that was even more validation for him to tell me how worthless I was, how pathetic I was, and how nobody was ever gonna want me. And I'm now seeing that I don't think that's true. I do think there is someone out there for me. I think that there's someone out there for me that will walk with me through my faith and will grow with me and will love me unconditionally and won't constantly criticize me and tell me that I can't and tell me that I'm too old to do something. I'm definitely not alone in my life, but I'm lonely. I wish I had a partner, someone to talk to in this way. I have good friends. I have a good friend, but it's not the same as a partner in a relationship. It's not that intimacy that I long for. I mean, it's intimate in some ways, but not the way that a male and female relationship is. And I think I need that. Maybe not now, but eventually. And I think that God will eventually show me the direction of that person. And I'm just praying for it. I have a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression. And, a lot of that stems from abuse and MS and being chronically ill. Many things. But I am trying to learn to push past that. And I'm trying to become strong and healthy in my mind so that when a person does come along, I'm in a better place and I can see it and I know that it's real. I'm not this constantly the medical person that I am with my background, wanting to fix people. Men come into my life, or even female friends come into my life, and oh my gosh, I have so much empathy for you. Let me help you. Let me fix you. And in the end, the person that gets drained the most is me. The person that's left standing there wondering why is me. Me. I don't want that anymore. I had a very strong man of faith, a reverend, the first reverend that really impacted me in my life, had a talk with me one time about marriage is strands of 3. It's not a husband and a wife. It's a husband and a wife and God. And without those 3 strands, it's not strong and it won't be as resilient and all the things that you want and need in a marriage or just a relationship. Anyhow, I think every relationship I've ever had, I've missed that 3rd strand. I didn't look for that 3rd strand. I just looked at the 2nd strand. And I looked with what the outside looked like. I didn't look in the inside and see what that person was really about. I just saw all the beautiful things that are in the present, like the bows and all the pretty sparkly wrapping paper and stuff, all the things that make something look good. I would see that and would never let it get time to actually dig down inside and see what that person was. I'm not saying every relationship. I had one man in my life, and he was a really good and kind man. But we were both very young and very stupid, and we both made a lot of mistakes. And for that, I will always be sorry, and I hope that I'm forgiven, and I've forgiven him, and, we are what we are. But I do think that God has a bigger plan for me. I don't think I'm supposed to be this mother of 7 children that have raised up these children and raising up these children, and then boom, there I am. I think that there's a person that's supposed to come into my life and hold my hand and walk with me, figuratively, and truly hold my hand. But every day I'm learning to not rely on that anxiety and depression that I have. It constantly wants to grab the wheel out of Jesus' hand, so to speak, and fix everything myself, because I don't have the answers. I don't have any answers half the time for the crap that goes on in my life. I am a hot mess express. And my best friend always tells me not to say that words have meaning when you voice them, and I get that, but hey, I'm going to tell you right here and right now, I am a hot mess. But I'm God's hot mess. And I was created in the image of God. I truly believe that God knew the plan before it ever happened and before I've ever stepped into this crap. So I am what I am, and I am truly learning to just embrace this hot mess that God has made and designed, because I am God's hot mess, and I am designed in His image. I am. Crooked face, lisp, and all. I'm deaf in my right ear. That's part of God's plan. My friends get mad at me because I can't hear them. I read lips. But it's okay. I'm learning that that's okay. That sometimes people don't understand what walk we as individuals take in our life. And I'm learning to accept that and be like, okay, get mad at me, but I can't change it. I can't freaking hear you. If I don't see your mouth, I can't read your lips, and I definitely can't hear you. It was kind of funny during the pandemic. I didn't know I was deaf. And I would jokingly say, it's kind of crazy. Everybody put on masks and suddenly I can't hear. Well, duh. It took a doctor telling me that no, you can't hear. You were reading lips. And once we put a mask on and covered it up, I couldn't read lips anymore. And that's why I suddenly realized I can't hear. Now I've adjusted. I'm not deaf, but if I tell you what or speak up, please don't get mad at me. It is what it is, and I am who I am, and I can't change that. But I thank you for being on this vlog journey with me, for those of you that are willing to sit and listen to this bullshit. And it probably is bullshit to most of you. However, if I can help one person along the way, even if it's make someone mad at me or laugh at me or whatever, I'm going to do it. Truthfully, this is a lot of therapy for me, as crazy as that sounds. It's good for me to talk about things. So I want you to know that I do not intend on any of this to upset or offend people. I will not use names. So if you think something I'm talking about is about you, and it may or may not, however, don't take offense to it. I'm absolutely not trying to point you out. Nobody knows who the heck I'm talking about except probably you. And it's kind of like one of those people on Facebook that takes offense to memes and thinks everything's about them. Well, if they act that way, more than likely that meme is about them. But things I say, it may be about you, it may not. And I'm not saying it's bad if it seems that way. What I'm saying is it's things that have happened and have made me realize and have made me grow. And those things, even when they seem bad or not bad, they're good. Just like with MS, I was so mad at God, but I realized that I am who I am, and this is how it's supposed to be. And I just had to figure out that I did have a purpose. I wasn't worthless. And God's plan and God's design for me is amazing. And yeah, I'm stronger than MS. And I will triumph over it in whatever way God has in store for me. So please don't take any offense to anything in these videos. Like I said, I won't point you out. I won't name call. Most of the time I'm going to try to say they instead of him or her. But these are all things that have impacted me and explain my story. And that's basically what I want to do here, is just explain my story. I wanted to write a book, and it's hard for me to sit down and write it all out. So I thought maybe I can do this first and see where that goes. So thank you for bearing with me. And this is video number 1. And I want you to have a great day. Bye.